What are the risks of opiate use? Working in this field for over 35 years, dealing with people who have opiate dependency problems, a big one is when you're using opiates, which are like hydrocodone, oxycodone, fentanyl, meperidine, hydromorphone, methadone, codeine, kratom. These are all pseudoindoxil, 7-hydroxymitragynine. These are all opiate-based drugs. Big one with opiates, you may nod out and hit your head. You may fall asleep on a radiator and burn your skin. You may fall asleep. I've had people just literally sitting with a needle in their arm fall over, and their legs were crossed in such a way that they cut off circulation to their leg, and part of the leg was amputated. I've had people driving cars and nod out at the wheel and get in accidents, hit their head, break bones and hips and legs, and people nodding out on boats, people nodding out in pools and bathtubs. For whatever reason, people take opiates and take baths and wind up drowning. I've had people burn themselves by nodding out with a cigarette in their mouth and it burning. The social issues with long-term opiate use, you could get consumed with opiates and you financially drain yourself. You may break the law and get caught. You may have to steal, embezzle. Your loved ones get ignored. So that's a whole gamut of problems. The socio-economic, and legal problems. Overdose is another one. Eventually you'll get one of the dealers or one of the persons who is giving you this will give you high potency. They mean well, I think. Or you'll just take too much and you'll overdose and get brain damage, cardiovascular arrest. I've had people shoot up and get impurities in and get embolus in their lungs or get impurities get lodged in their lungs. Another thing that happens, which is interesting, because your pain sensation is blocked for so long, you become very sensitive to pain. So someone who's been on opiates a long time, if you go to do any procedure on them, they're like, oh my God, I can't take the pain. Because the slightest pain to them, since they're not used to feeling any, becomes exaggerated. It's called hyperalgesia. It is very common. I worked in the emergency room for 20 years, and we wanted to do the smallest procedure on someone, put a line in them or cut an abscess, and they're screaming and yelling how much pain they're in. Another big one, opiates cause a decrease in gonadal function, meaning decreased testosterone in men, decreased estrogen in women, sexual dysfunction, infertility, inability to have kids. And in women with lack of estrogen, you may get osteoporosis, bone demineralization, or your bones become weak. Now, another big one with opiates is they get endocarditis from impurities or bacteria in something they shut up, and it eats away at the heart valves. So for the rest of their life, they have a heart valve abnormality, or just long-term opiate use seems to degrade the valves of the heart. Kidney issues develop from using opiates. On MRIs, when people get magnetic resonance imaging, CAT scans, or MRIs of the brain, it shows decreased gray matter. So part of the brain is shrinking. Another big one that I see, once someone's used opiates and they're so used to the high of the opiate, they never seem to enjoy things as much. Their creativity goes down. They never quite get back in the saddle again. Nothing is as fun as that. So it's always second best. So their life there's almost an apathy to them. Nothing is exciting. Nothing is fun anymore. Another thing is sleep-wake cycles thrown off for life. For some reason, during opiates or after stopping them, they never seem to sleep well again. Another big problem is immune suppression. So the immune system is compromised with opiates, so they're constantly getting colds and flus and infections, and it has to do with a cytokine system, and cell-mediated antibody system and antibody formation. Another big one would be adrenal insufficiency. They cannot deal with stress anymore. The adrenals don't produce cortisol. They always feel fatigued. They always feel drained. Another big one, if you're using opiates, is opiate gut, or where your gut, you have chronic constipation, you get a paralytic ileus. From the chronic constipation of the opiates, you get, the gut doesn't move material through the gut anymore. And the final thing I would say, which is an overriding feeling of it's called anhedonia. Life just does not seem the joie de vivre. Their joy of living is no longer there after long-term opiate use. This is just a little talk on what people go through who use opiates. In my practice here in Palm Beach, next to West Palm Beach, I could detox people and begin your healing. Just give me a call, look me up, drmarkagresti.com. Thank you. Bye.